One other guy that, look, we're talking about too many mouths to feed. He's basically the only mouth to feed in Arizona. Marquise Brown. Is this just a case of the Kyler injury means that you don't want to touch him?
In best ball, I have no problem with Kyler Murray. I think you can build rosters where you take Marquise Brown as like your third, fourth wide receiver, and there's no problem with that. He's going as the wide receiver 32, and he is entering this year on the back of a career high in PPR points per game. He was the 21st wide receiver in that, but he saw his deep ball rate drop to a career low 20.4%. And the whole play last year was that he was going to play with his friend Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray was a better downfield thrower than Lamar Jackson. And then it just wasn't there, And then when Kyler got injured, obviously things spiraled. But this offensive line in Arizona looks awful, easily a bottom 5 unit. We haven't heard anything about when Kyler Murray's going to play. He's still, the team are taking it easy and taking it slow with him. And by all accounts, things are going a bit weird with Colt McCoy and the rookie whose name I can't remember. But in training camp, there's always talk about how they're not even throwing balls at times, that sometimes they're just pointing towards the pass would have been. And it just seems like this is a team that expecting anything out of them this year is going to be ugly. They don't have a good defense. We don't have a good offense. And there's no other weapons to draw coverage. You look over Marquise Brown's career, and typically he's played with the likes of Mark Andrews or DeAndre Hopkins, who've been able to draw coverage from defenders. Now he's going to get an awful lot of focus from teams who are able to hone in on him. In all due respect to Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, Mike Wilson, they are not the kind of players that you're even going to need to put your cornerback 2 on. You can quite happily put your cornerback 3 on those players. So I think the only time I would be taking Marquise Brown is if he slipped a bit and you're able to stash him as like your wide receiver 5 and really just wait out the bye week situation when you need somebody to start, or when you get a look at Kyler Murray and you can see Kyler Murray back. And then perhaps it'll be time for Marquise Brown to see like a 30% target share and really capitalize on things.
Yeah, I think for me, if we're saying, right, Kyler Murray is back, then fine. I can kind of get on board with Marquise Brown because, as you said, I think he could command that 30% target share in this offense. But let's talk about the start of the season. In redraft, it is so important to get off to a good start because otherwise you're chasing your tail. This is a guy that's going to be catching passes from either a 5th-round rookie, and, Clayton Tune, I wasn't a big fan of him coming out. I didn't think that he had an NFL quality arm. I'd be gobsmacked if he's good enough to win the starting job. Or you've got Colt McCoy, who's on his, I think, 5th NFL team. He's got a career ADOT of 7.7. Like, this is not a guy that is pushing the ball down the field. This is a guy that is quick reads, dump the ball off, get it out of his hand. That's not the targets that we want Marquise Brown seeing. And I just don't see a natural kind of marriage between the two. So, yeah, if you can draft Brown in a scenario where, as you said, you can wait till, double-digit weeks to put him in your starting lineup, fine. But I'm not sure there's many redraft leagues where you're going to be able to have Marquise Brown as your wide receiver 4 or 5. Chances are you're probably going to have him as your wide receiver 2, 3, and rely on putting him in that flex spot week in, week out, and it's just not going to be exciting. And I fear that you're going to be chasing the 8 ball and trying to play catch up as soon as you start making that selection. So, yeah, not a fan of Marquise Brown and completely get that.